Hello everyone and welcome back to another build. So this is a spooky build to celebrate the new pack coming out. This does not use the pack. Unfortunately, I don't have it yet when I'm building this, so it'll probably come out right after the pack came out. Next week Friday, what date is that? I have no clue, but it comes out on a Friday because we recorded Monday's video, which is that rental mansion. So this is Friday's video. This is actually based off an actual house that's abandoned and everything that I found on Google. So I thought, hey, you know what, why not use that? It looks nice, it works. So here I'm just, making sure the roof works nice and well and all that jazz. Yeah, it's a very tiny house. I think I did have to increase the size of of the other side. You see that one side that's sticking out one tile, it sticks out two tiles later on just because I had to increase it. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been able to fit in a bedroom or anything like that. So here's where I'm having the trouble where I'm like, okay, well, how do I do this? And that's just where I'm like, okay, increase this. And, bring the roof over and everything like that. So I really, really like this build. I did use Tool a lot. As you'll see, I'm trying to make the column twist, but I couldn't because it just wouldn't rotate, so I decided to use those City Living column things for their lights. I just had to make sure it was on the right scale. So I just scaled it down a bit more, and then here I'm rotating it because in the picture, one of the columns actually does rotate out like that. I don't know if it's really a needed column because the roof hasn't caved in, but it's hanging off like that, so that's why I did that. Adding in some trash, adding in some pipes. Again, sorry for the noise if you hear that. What else? Alright, I'm just moving in that little floor piece so that the trim carries off, and also there are no stairs in this build, so this isn't really a functional build because I don't actually have a stove and a fridge here. There is a stove and a fridge, but it's a non-functional stove and fridge. So so this isn't really a functional house. This is more of like an aesthetic house that I just wanted to build for the new pack. I do have another idea for a new build. It's like a spellcaster mansion thing. Not a mansion, just a house. I don't think it's gonna be really that big, but again, I'm gonna make a spellcaster sim just for the new pack, just so that I can play around with that. Because obviously they do have the little buff of being able to gain the skill faster, so I thought, why not have a spellcaster sim? So I don't know if I'll be doing a create video on that. I don't know. We'll see how things go. Adding in a lot more debug items, trash and things like that, and now a fence, sort of like a broken down fence. I really, really, really like this. It fit in really well. So yeah, and then just making sure everything looks broken down and old. There's like a caution thing to be like, no, don't go in here. See, you probably saw a glimpse of that stove and the fridge here, and just rotating the mailbox again. Old, decrepit, broken down. It matches the theme. So here I'm just adding in some graffiti, and now I'm going to be tool rotating all of those window things. I don't know if you're gonna see me rotating all of those things. I think I do cut that out just because that was a big chunk of things, but I do just rotate them, which will happen later on. I'm just moving them into the right place so that once I do rotate them, there's not that big of a problem. So here I'm just starting to rotate, and there we cut away. Yeah, that was a bit too long, and I think you would have gotten bored of that. So here's the living room. I do use tool later on in here on that bookcase, and then here is the kitchen. As you can see, I'm using the broken down sort of things from Eco Lifestyles debug. I do also use tool on those doors just to make them look like they're actually falling off and falling apart and things like that. So I do like that, and then I'm just hanging in some that little book from vampires to make it look like that's a cookbook and a sink and things like that. So here's the bathroom, which I had trouble with. That window was in the way, so I had to eventually move the window. As you can see, I moved that all to the next side, and there's the toilet and then the sink. I do kind of wish I had Parenthood for that sink alone, the one sink that they have, just because that would have worked great. And I also don't know why this mirror kept rising when I tried to move it. It just rose steadily. I really don't know what happened there. Adding in some cabinets, adding in a table. This table also gave me trouble. So you'll see what I'll do. What I do with the chairs, I rotate one of the chairs with tool. So just go 90 and then I bring it up a bit, and then I just bring it back down with tool. So as you can see, the table kept snapping to the chair even though there were chairs on the table. So as you can see, the chair was just a bit too high, so I had to bring it down just a teensy bit so that it touched the floor and it wouldn't be floating. And I'm just adding in tiling in the places and wood floors. I go with this sort of older looking wood floor from Get Famous. The white doesn't look that good, but I think the other wood colors throughout the house looks okay. Adding in some lighting, which I do turn off later on and use debug lighting to give sort of this weird glow. So here's where I leave these things open and I make them like hang off and they're broken down and things like that. I'm adding in some dirt. I don't add in a lot of it. Like at first I wanted to go throughout all the house, but then I was like, no, I think that this would just look stupid. So I only added it to a small part of the front of the house and then to all of these fence posts and the pieces of the foundation that goes into the floor of the stilted foundation. So here I'm just going through, adding it to the trees and to these fence posts. I think that made it look a little bit nicer. So here I'm just adding it there, and then I wanted to move this piece under it, but I think that it also raised up weirdly. As you can see, it's not on the ground anymore, which was weird. It was really weird, and I had to bring it down and bring it down. And I knew eventually just raise the terrain up underneath here just a little bit. Kind of looked better. And then I'm just adding in some terrain paint. I don't know if I do add more terrain paint later on. I don't know, but this is the most as I have right now. And again, under some of these things, the grass is dead under it, and now it's just ground and things like that. I also use tool on this little bird box, which, I don't know, it looks really nice. Things look broken down and decrepit and old, and there's mail that hasn't been collected. I really love this bed for this build. I'm so glad that I finally got to use that bed. I also used that little potter thing just because I wanted to put something out there. So here's where I use tool on the bookshelf. What else? Then I'm just adding in the small little TV. No lamp. I forgot to change the color of that lamp so it's purple. It stays purple. Just using tool in these suitcases to make them come out a little bit. To make it look like, either these people are just about to leave or like something happened. Then maybe they were expecting like a baby, something happened there. I don't know. You can make this spooky house story, whatever you want it to be. I just wanted to add that really nice baby sort of thing, sort of bassinet. There we go. That's the word I was looking for from Magic. I think that looked really nice, and I thought, you know what? Maybe they were planning on having the baby, and they built that, but something tragic happened, and they couldn't end up having the baby. And the house was abandoned and things like that. Adding in some cobwebs everywhere. And then later on, yeah, now I'm adding in the cracks and the paint peeling off and water stains and things like that. Adding in window cracks, adding in door scratches. I really like this build, and it looks so decrepit and old and really fits the whole theme, spooky theme. But again, it's not functional, which is the crappy thing. So if you really do want to live in here, I would think maybe make like a storyline up of you bought this house and you're gonna fix it up, and you're on a budget and things like that. I think that would be cool. But for actually living in how it currently is, you wouldn't do. I don't think most of it's functional. I wanted to add a bouquet thing, but I had to make it myself with a sim, so I just cheated up their skill of flower arranging, and then I made one. So here's I'm just changing the color of the debug lights. I don't have any debug lights in the bedroom, and it's mostly just going to be that blue, that sort of cyan aqua color. I wanted to go like multiple colors, but it just didn't work, so I went with the blue. I think the blue was the best out of all of them. So here's where you see I'm making all the lights sort of this orangey color, and then I'm turning all the lights off and only having the glow sort of color there. So there I changed the color and not looking a little better. And here I changed up what happens up here, and I used that ghost gnome. I couldn't find it for some reason until I searched it. So here I'm glad I found it. At first I thought why I couldn't find it was because it came with spooky stuff. So I was like, not spooky stuff. Yes, spooky stuff. Stupid. Spooky stuff. I was like, no, it's there. So I found it, and I'm just changing the colors of the lights, turning them off and on, and things like that. So that's the house. Hope you guys like it. Here I'm just adding in some more plants and things like that. So that's it from me. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.
I don't know what to say, I don't know what to say, I don't know what to do. Colors all around, but I don't see anything but blue. Get lost in the sound, go back to the start. Let's go out of the dark.